So, in this course we are going to learn about pricing our cakes, and we could also use the same thing to price all the baked goodies as well. So, I am going to take you through lesson by lesson, so the understanding of how to use this worksheet, which is basically the Excel, becomes a little more clearer, and it is not too confusing, because obviously there are quite a lot of formulas, and we've made it as user friendly as possible. So, lesson by lesson, if you go through and understand how this has to be used, then it is going to be very easier, and then the final pricing will be just calculated all by itself with very lesser effort. So, for that you need to understand some of the basic information about this worksheet and how we have put things together. And so you know where you have to change certain things and certain places where you shouldn't be touching at all, and then maybe it could just lead to errors. So that specific part is very important. Okay. So the first thing that you need to know is the master sheet that is there in this particular Excel sheet, the worksheet. So that is what you are seeing now on the screen. So here this note says you have to edit the cells which are highlighted in green color. So, you are not supposed to touch or delete or alter anything that is there in cells that are not in green color. So, you can see, so these are the 3 green cells, and these are another set of green cells. So, this is the shade of color that is mentioned here. So, that is the first and foremost thing you need to keep in mind. Everywhere in the green cell is what you should add or change, whatever you have to. Okay. So, in the master sheet, the first thing you need to know, so that will be the leftmost sheet in the Excel, the work book that will be given to you. Now, what I have done here is added all the possible probable ingredients that will be used in baking. So, it just starts with what you can see here is the all purpose flour. It is given in the alphabetical order, but then if we have to add more, I am going to show you how, and then that you can add it at the end also. It does not have to be alphabetical order, it is for easier, you know, to look, it has to just start from A. So, I have just ordered it that way to start with. Later on, if you have to add anything, any new ingredient for that matter, say suppose strawberries are not added, there is raspberry compote here and then pineapple puree here. So, maybe say assume the strawberry is not there, and if you are just going to make a strawberry cake, then you have to input it here. This is the ingredient itself. If it is the fruit itself, so you can maybe add fresh strawberries. Okay, and then how much are you buying it for? So, the second column, what you see is the quantity, and then unit, are you going to buy that in kilograms or grams, or if it is fruits, like you are going to buy one fruit, like say maybe pineapple, then that you get it in numbers. And say if you have to you know, buy eggs, then they are also coming in numbers, like one egg cost you this much. So, you got maybe 10 eggs, and then the price of 10 eggs is supposed to be whatever you had got. So, because if you are going to buy one egg at a time, then maybe the price is not as effective. So, maybe you are going to get it bulk from somewhere. So, you know the cost of one egg, you are trying to cut down on the entire cost of your making. Then you are going to buy certain things in bulk. So, that way you have to enter the quantity, like buying 250 grams of almond meal could be even more expensive. So, you know that you are going to use a lot of almond meal, then you could rather buy that in the wholesale shop. So, a kg of almond meal is going to cost you lesser that way. 100 grams or even 20 grams of almond meals cost in your recipe is going to have an effect on the overall pricing, right. So, you have to understand where you are going to buy and how much you have to buy, and also if you are not going to use that ingredient for quite some time, then you do not have to buy in bulk just because you are going to have one particular recipe's cost lower. So, that judgment you need to have of how much you are going to buy. So, based on that, you have to add in the quantity that you are going to buy now, or you have bought, or the frequently buying quantity. So, strawberry, say assume that one specific strawberry, the box of strawberries that I got was 250 grams. So I need to just enter gram here, and then how much was it for? Obviously it is seasonal, and then the pricing varies, but right now if I am going to use that particular strawberry for a recipe that I am going to calculate as of now, then I have to input it here. Say assume that was 150 rupees. So that is how I will be inputting that. So say suppose now maybe a recipe already, I think there is cocoa powder already mentioned here, right? Say suppose I just need a Dutch processed cocoa powder, or maybe a new branded cocoa powder that I am going to get. Say then maybe I have two different kinds of cocoa powder, say. So I am also going to decide between the range of my products, so a premium range of my chocolate cakes, and then which could be a little more expensive. So what is going to decide my a same recipe, but then how can it be premium? It all depends on the quality of the ingredients that we are using, right? So it could be a locally available cocoa powder which you're not sure of the quality, the taste, and that is less expensive, and then you feel like maybe I should go because go with that, the one that is less expensive and the quality is not that great, but you still want to go ahead because your costing is coming down, and then you have more clientele for that specific range of products that you are selling. So that way now I am going to have another series of premium version of my chocolate cake. So then comes in the premium range of cocoa powders. In that case, what I am going to input here is Van Houten's cocoa powder, okay. And what am I getting it for? So here I could have 1 kg, or I would rather prefer adding it in grams, okay. So 1000 grams, obviously I am buying a 1 kg powder, but I am going to have 1000 grams here because 1000 grams is 1 kg, and I am going to also input gram here. So it is easier that way if I am going to use it on the recipe. Say suppose I am adding 120 grams of cocoa powder in a recipe, then the calculation becomes easier that way, okay. Say, and then I am doing it approximately, the cost is 800 rupees for that specific cocoa powder. Now what name of the ingredient I am using here is the same one that I have to be picking up from the other sheet that I will be showing in another lesson. So again here would like most of the all the kilos I have to change it to grams, and again because in the recipe we will be having most of them in grams, right. So this will anyway be edited for you when you will be using it. So mostly you will not have liters, or you will not have kgs, you will only be having grams and ml, because that is what will be used in the recipe, which is there in another sheet that I will be showing you. So the master sheet is all about having the ingredients that you will be basically using in all the recipes. You have to input only in this particular sheet. So you have to input the ingredients in the sheet given there, and the green area is given there, like you can see, for almost about 500 rows. The 500 ingredients, I think we will not be running out of that space. So from here is where the rest of the formula is being used. So much space is given there for you to add the ingredients as you will be needing. You can check out on this list which is already here. So you don't have to input the same thing over again, but what you have to do is to go ahead and then cross check the costing of what I have added here to the pricing that you buy, okay. So now say suppose the all purpose flour, 1 kg, I am changing it to gram, for you it will be available in grams only. So my 1 kg, which is 1000 grams of all purpose flour, is 40 rupees. Say suppose you are buying a premium brand of all purpose flour which says, you know, it has some special things and all that, and say if it costs you 60 rupees or something, then you need to change here. You can't be using the exact same price that I have included here in the Excel sheet, because this is my pricing of the products that I buy for myself. It may not be the same for you guys if you are buying from different places, right? So go ahead, the first step that you guys have to do is to change the cost, the buying cost of the ingredients of each one of them here, and you need to verify the grams. Say suppose the almond meal you are not buying 100 grams, maybe I bought 100 grams, so I have mentioned 100 grams here and then the cost of 100 grams of almond meal. Say suppose you have purchased 1 kg of almond meal, then change the 100 what I have given there to 1000 grams, and then the costing that you have got it for approximately I am just putting 700 rupees. So one by one just check out on the Excel sheet and then verify the quantity that you will be purchasing or what you have already purchased, and add the costing accordingly of whatever you have purchased. So first thing, unless you edit this part, you cannot be moving forward to the next part of the sheet, because this is very crucial. Your recipe and the way you make for everybody's pricing will be very unique to each person, because each of us will be buying things from different places where the pricing is quite different. At least there is a feeble difference even if we are neighbors, because we don't know what brand each one is buying. So changing the costing here, verifying it from your local shops from where you buy your stuffs, and adding some of the ingredients which are not there in the specific master sheet is very important, and that is the first step you will be doing. Say suppose you are not going to use certain ingredient that is given there, you could just remove it off or just change the value to delete off the value and then make it empty. Okay, so this doesn't pick up, or you can just remove or delete that entire sheet, delete that entire row from there. Say suppose you are not going to use cream cheese, delete that entire row, so that doesn't pick up when you are going to use it on the next sheet. In case in future if you are going to use whatever you have deleted, doesn't matter, you can come down and then start adding from the bottom. So you have to make sure this specific table will have all the ingredients with the exact pricing that you have bought them in your local supplies shop, with the exact quantity of what you have bought it for. Okay, so this is very important, and we just move on to the next lesson where I am going to talk about the artist charges and what are the additional costs that will come in place, which is just not the ingredients, but we have a lot more to discuss. So see you in the next lesson.